Autobound is a B2B enterprise software company paving the path to yes for sales. What's a salesperson's least favorite word? No, and they hear it hundreds of times a day. I'm Daniel. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Autobound. In my last tech sales job, we were under high pressure to make 80 calls and send 40 emails daily. This high volume meant generic, spammy salespeople and angry, annoyed prospects, resulting in missed quota. So my colleagues and I were miserable, attrition was high. To ease the pain, I created a process to customize targeted and humanistic sales outreach at scale until I was a #2 sales rep at Oracle. My co-founder and best friend of 19 years, Kyle, was the #1 sales manager globally at Yelp because of a process he developed to empower his reps to know exactly what to say to engage a buyer. We met Adam, our head of engineering, during demo day at Founder Institute. He's been writing code for over 20 years and has built enterprise software products with thousands of current users from the ground up. B2B sales isn't just inefficient, but ineffective because sellers lack buyer insights. Sales reps are overwhelmed by meaningless data and struggle to interest their potential buyers. Companies in the US alone last year spent $900 billion on their sales initiatives, yet only half of sales reps hit quota, resulting in major missed revenue opportunities. So we're building Autobound on the foundation of what changed the game for us in multiple sales environments. Autobound's platform makes sales data actionable and boosts revenue by making it easy for our users to engage the people most likely to become customers within an intuitive and automated workflow. And our secret sauce lies within our personas. Facebook's ad enterprise is built off of an average of 3,500 data points on every user in order to target the perfect ad to the person most likely to purchase. We're doing something similar, but for B2B sales. Our personas understand what messaging is most likely to engage a buyer and delivers fully composed, ready to go, highly targeted sales outreach activities directly to our users' buyer personas, optimized to what's most likely to initiate a positive response from that persona. Think fully written, multi-step campaigns of email, text, gift delivery, handwritten notes, and more. It takes 20 minutes and 6 tools to create the expertly crafted and individualized email that we assemble at scale instantly. So we interviewed hundreds of our users and buyers, not to mention we used to be them as well. In Q1, we launched an MVP with paying customers, then graduated Founder Institute. We had generated a great deal of inbound interest from 35 companies come Q2. And recently we've launched version 1 with 6 active customers and another 55 companies in our sales pipeline. Autobound is the only B2B platform that automatically composes persona-based messaging in its entirety, alongside the most impactful yet historically time-consuming sales tasks that are required to be a top performer. Our per-user SaaS pricing ties to increasing functionality that's derived from the depth of intelligence that our users can access from their buyer personas. Our go-to-market, we have hundreds of friends in sales and an advisory board of heavy-hitting sales executives, giving us an unfair advantage against our competition. Our target customers are businesses in B2B SaaS, business and financial services. We're launching and have launched 2 SMBs and already onboarded 6 customers and are shortly rolling out to mid-market, of which we have 20 companies in our pipeline. And then to the enterprise, we are already in talks with 3 large companies. So we are raising a pre-seed round to accelerate product development, higher sales, and hit $100,000 in monthly revenue by 2021. We've already raised $100,000 and recently received another investment this week under the new terms of this round. Again, we have another 55 companies on our wait list and are generating more interest every single day. I am leading our fundraising efforts. You can reach out to me here if you're interested in seeing if there's space to work together. Again, I'm Daniel. You've just learned about Autobound. We are disrupting the way businesses sell by paving the path to yes. Thank you, and I'm happy to open it up to questions.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Daniel. The first question that we have, as usual, right, is why are you doing this?
Yeah, happy to answer. So I've spent 5 years in incredibly inefficient sales organizations at Fortune 500 companies. Have witnessed firsthand how monotonous and miserable B2B sales can be, even with the landscape of current CRM and technology tools for sales. So this is what led me to form my own process to become the number two salesperson at Oracle. And Kyle, my co-founder, tells a very similar story with how he became the number one sales manager globally at Yelp.
Why do you think the time is now for Autobound? There's a lot of sales automation kind of tools, but what do you think happens this year that enables you to do it when maybe it wasn't you weren't able to do it a few years ago?
Yeah, another good question. So last year, companies in the US alone spent $900 billion dollars on their sales efforts. They spent $13 billion dollars on sales enablement initiatives. Half of sales reps missed quota. This is the lowest it's ever been. And of the money spent on sales enablement initiatives, only 30% met expectations. So a lot of money is being spent and it's not working out that well. Not just that, but on average this year, companies are purchasing 4 new sales technologies for their sales teams. And for the fourth year in a row, lead generation maintains the number one place on sales executives' list of initiatives. So there's lots of money being poured into the space that we are in. No one has become a dominant market player, and we think the opportunity is ripe for Autobound to take that number one spot.
Why do you believe that your company has a lot of potential for growth?
So every company wants to grow. Every company wants to increase the effectiveness and efficiencies of their sales teams. 75% of US companies are spending money in our space this year. That number increases 10% year over year. And the CRM market's growing pretty rapidly as well. So every year that continues to grow, we can support more and more customers. Not to mention, if Autobound works as we say it will literally sell itself. We've already had 70 demos. We're converting a pretty high number of those, currently 55, plus the 6 customers we currently have on board, and to folks who are interested in taking the next step with us. So we think it's onwards and upwards for our sales efforts.
Supriya asked the question here in the chat room, what kind of buyer intent do you collect and from what sources?
That's a great question. So our algorithms of suggested sales activities come from a multitude of our users' current sales technology, mainly their CRM, as well as external sources that we're integrating with. And these are enterprise businesses who focus just on sales data, similar to your Discover orgs or Inside View or Zoom Infos of the world. And then we also have an initiative to be an integrator in this space. So we've initiated conversations with other top sales enablement players who are keen and interested in continuing developing partnerships with us.
There's also another question here from Jay, again, around competition here, but how are you planning to take on your competition? You mentioned Salesforce, Zoho, Freshdesk as some of the people here. And, it seems like a lot of these enterprise products are infusing AI and automation into their tools as well. So how do you think about the competitive landscape?
Yeah, so we aren't a CRM. We run in parallel with a company's CRM. So we're not directly competing with the Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics of the world. We are the only sales automation platform that's customizing expert sales outreach at scale. We're able to do this through our personas, which give us unparalleled insights into the buyers that each individual user of ours targets. The more our platform is used, the depth of these persona insights is continuously enhanced, contributing more and more information from both our users' sales outreach as well as an aggregation of information within their CRM. So us being the first player in the space, we have an advantage in that regard as well.
What message channels are you going to monitor for engagement?
So we currently aggregate information from roughly 150 data fields inside of a CRM. The main things that we're looking at is the entirety of a sales email, whether it's inbounds or outbounds, notes from a phone call, the past opportunities or potential sales deals that a rep might have, information on leads, and that list continues to expand.
Final question here from Craig is like, will you have some sort of a predefined like index schema to understand like sentiment or buying personas or things like that? Or if not, just maybe talk about that more broadly. How are you thinking about that?
Yeah, so that circles back to our concept of personas as well. So based off of, quite simply put, a persona's core firmographic traits like their job title, their seniority, the industry they work in, and then things that tie directly into the receiving of an email or a sales activity, like what time of day is it that I'm opening this message? What's the weather outside? We are optimizing not just which channel we're suggesting the message to be delivered, such as it makes more sense to call this person or email them based off of when are they most likely to pick up the phone and respond to an email or a text, but also the sentiment. So we are optimizing the language of the text if we're speaking to somebody more senior. We're introducing the reference of past sales interactions if we've spoken to someone multiple times in the past. So it's not just the text sentiment and the channel of delivery, but it goes far beyond that. So we're unearthing some of the intricacies behind sales success patterns that no one's been able to quite yet. And that's what gets us really excited.
It is really exciting, and this is a really exciting company. For everyone in the chat room and for everyone that's going to be listening to this or watching this later, if you want to learn more about Autobound, go ahead and go to Autobound.ai. You can also scan the QR code here that is cleverly put on the slide. I also want to thank Daniel for doing this. Thank you so much for taking
Thanks, Mike.
busy schedule to doing this. And